Hello and welcome to a new episode of BeamNG Drive. Today we're going to be testing out if this little button down here actually makes a difference to how the car drives. Now, we're going to be testing out how much power is sent to each wheel and that type of stuff. So, we're going to want to go over here to the UI apps, and then we need to find the one that involves the powertrain right here. So let's just see that. Put that right there. Then we can put it in the gear. And so just sitting here like this. Make sure I can actually sit here. Okay. So you see that's how much is going through everything. And how restrictive it's going to be. That's what we're going to be looking at, and I know drift mode just changed sometimes how much power is sent to the wheels. And we can see here the front wheels are getting a little bit more power, and it's very interesting to see how it's laid out with in normal mode. So in normal mode, it has a really cool differential in this car. It almost like it has a smart active differential, electronical. So with that electronical differential, it seems like power can be sent to different places at different speeds. And if you're looking over there, sometimes you might see it getting almost no power to one wheel and then power to other wheels. That's because it does have a limited slip differential, and we're going over to the side of the track. Limited slip basically means that the tires can lock in place at certain amounts of lock. And just going around this track in normal mode, you can't go too fast because it is being a bit restrictive here. And when it's restricted, you can't really corner that tight because it'll limit your power when it detects any type of slip. So let's just set the car back on the start line. So we're here on the start line, and we can just see all this type of stuff here. None of these actually do anything that I know of. Yes, none of these actually do anything. That's just so you can see them. Now if we go over and change the sport mode, pretty sure the only difference is how restrictive it is. So we can see it's definitely letting more power go to the wheels. Now, the really telling part would be while going around these corners here. And what we want to test while in sport mode is how well this car will drift. And this car is so little restricted in sport mode. It just has a little cushion there so that you're not being completely held back, which is nice to have. And I definitely do notice that this car is able to go without that cushion there, without that big huge cushion there, in normal mode. You're definitely a lot safer while going around the track, but you can't go nearly as fast. You have more control over the vehicle in the sense that you are able to control what it does rather than the electronics more coming into place. So it definitely seems like power is able to be sent more to the wheels if we look over there. So now that we're here again, I think we should try out without anything on, and then we'll test out drift mode. But right here we're just gonna see how well it drifts without using e-brake or anything like that. It drifts pretty nice. It just sometimes has trouble getting the tail out. So what we're going to do here is go back to the track, and here we are at the very start. So now we're going to set it into nothing. So now there's no electronical cushions or anything. That's how this does. So it definitely seems like there's less power going to the rear wheels some of the time. And you can see that more power goes to while going around corners, more power goes to the inner wheel. Because, well, okay, so more power goes to the outer wheel because the outer wheel travels a greater distance. So it has to travel at a different speed than the inner wheel. So with no electronic cushions, that was big. Your spine's broken now. Anyway, coolant overheating. Well, that's stupid. So I guess now we can just see how well it does it to drift in this normal mode. So I've let it cool off just a tiny bit. Still pretty hot, but I've let it cool off a little bit. So we're going to floor it here, and then see how well it does to try to drift around this corner up here. Nothing there. And around this corner, try to e-brake it. Still nothing really. Yeah, there's just something where you can't really drift this car, but does drift mode make a difference? Well, that's what we're going to be testing out right now. So if we just move over here to drift mode, and so I have everything the same except for coolant is now not overheating, and yeah, you can definitely see here there is so much more power going to the rear wheels rather than the front wheels. The front wheels, especially while going really high speeds, you definitely notice there's not as much. Now the thing is, let's see if it sends more power to the front wheels while in a corner. Yeah, it sends a lot of power while in the corner to the front wheels, which pulls the car through the corner. And basically it's a cheating system to try and drift. And that was amazingly easy to try and drift there. Like, so easy. Power sliding. Whoa. Completely different car. BeamNG definitely did make this really easy to use. To just change this car from a car that can stick around on the track and not slip out to a car that's slippery, so slippery yet so controllable. Well, slippery in the rear, sticky in the front. Oh, that noise just went to the mic. That's the wheel. Anyway, so if we just go around here. Like, we drifted that, and before you couldn't even have tried to drift it. Let's see, go around this. So easy. Like, while going around the corner, it's just like, it said to send all the power to one wheel to make it just go kick out. And then it was able to recover from that so easily. And this is so forgiving. It's like, look how reckless I'm being, and I can just fix it like that. What's this? Maybe a 80-30 split? Not 80-30. 70-30 split. 70 to the rear wheels. And let's go through the sand. I wonder, so if we were to get, say, like in the dirt or something, how much power do we get to the front wheels? Let's see. Yeah, so basically if you're going off-road or something, if we look here, if we look at the power on the front wheels, we get a lot of power on the front wheels still. So, it's an all-use system. Of course, if you don't want to drift and you want to be fast, don't use drift mode while on the track. So, hopefully you like this episode, and goodbye.